You guys watch porn all day and you don't even realize it. You might be thinking to yourself, who the hell is this guy and what the is he talking about? Well, look, I'm gonna put it in simple terms for you. I want you to picture yourself sitting at your dinner table with your phone or your computer, whatever it is. You're about to load up some YouTube, right? You're about to eat a delicious meal and you're about to load up some YouTube and you see a video, my $50,000 trip to Ibiza. Right? And you're like, that looks interesting. I want to watch that. And you think to yourself, if I watch content that is motivational or has to do with money or businessy or entrepreneur, you are going to think to yourself like, okay, I'm watching a video that might help me a little bit, right? It looks, like it's better than some of the brain rot videos you might see. And this is a huge problem that a lot of people face, including myself. I'm not here to say that I have not done this, nor do I ever do it. Of course we do. We all watch YouTube videos that are entertaining. But the problem is you, and myself included, thinking that it's actually doing something. Watching motivational content, motivational podcasts or TikToks, whatever it is not doing anything for you. And it literally leaves you curating and thinking about your dream life more so than actually going and achieving your dream life. And to put it in, brain rot terms for some of the younger kids who might be watching this, I want you to imagine yourself back in the day playing Fortnite. When you would play Fortnite, you couldn't just look at the battle pass, right? And think, if I watch enough videos on how to level up in the battle pass and then not touch my controller, I'll just get to the top, right? That's not how it works. And that's not how it works in life either. Life is very similar to a video game. I don't believe in manifestation unless you have action binded into it, right? And another great example is if you had a cup of vinegar and back in the day, we all had school science or whatever it is, you would put a little bit of baking soda and it would start to bubble or fizz up, right? Maybe even go to the top and overflow out of the cup. And the only reason it did that is because you added the baking soda. And I've made videos on this previously, but I defined you can't just sit there watching the cup of vinegar thinking one day it's going to start bubbling, right? That's not how that works. You have to add in the baking soda, and in this case in life can be a little bit of action. And this all ties into you guys watching and consuming so much content that it's all about motivation or money, thinking that it's actually doing something. And it's the same thing with porn. When you actually watch pornography, you think to yourself, while you're watching this content, I'm actually learning something. I'm gonna get better at sex or whatever it is, right? And you think to yourself, it's not too bad. And it's the same thing with motivational content. We've all seen the videos. Like these people, they put these videos out, and don't get me wrong, they're entertaining, they are. But they don't do anything, and that's what you need to realize. You can't think to yourself that just watching this content is helping you. And I know plenty of people who haven't really done anything with their lives. They tell me all the time, yeah bro, I was watching this one motivational podcast, or I was watching this one podcast about business the other day with Chris Williamson. And I'm like, bro, Chris Williamson isn't coming to save your life, nor is David Goggins. That these people aren't coming to help you. Just because you consume the content they hear does not mean anything. Because if that were the case, the 400 to 500 whatever short form pieces of content that we all consume on a day-to-day basis, especially the people who have really bad screen time hours, you would absorb all this knowledge and you'd be legitimately smarter. But that's not the case. You actually get dumber the more content and short form content you consume, specifically short form, because it's always switching. Our brains were never evolved or created to have that much stimulation. I think we all know this, but most people don't actually do anything about it. I just want you to think about that for a second. If you, let's say, out of the 400 pieces of short form content you watched today or yesterday, there was maybe 50 reels or whatever that had something valuable in it that you could have learned if you actually applied it to your life, but you just watched it. You don't even remember what it was. And so that's what I'm trying to say. None of this content that you watch that you think is doing anything with your life is actually doing nothing. And you're wasting your time and you're watching pornography effectively. It's just about the same. It's almost the same level of badness, right? To your mental health, your stimulants, your dopamine levels. It's all a bunch of crap. And if you don't escape it now and realize it now, especially while you're young, it will turn into something very, very ugly. One of the main objectives I have throughout every single day of my life now is thinking to myself, how can I minimize screen time and be more present within my life? Easy way, swap it for books. And I know a lot of people are gonna have a really hard time reading books, including myself. I used to barely be able to read a book, even 6-7 months ago, literally. And now when I read, it's one of the most enjoyable things ever because I really feel as if I'm absorbing the information, becoming smarter, and it's just incredible. And it almost feels nostalgic when I read a book or do something less stimulating than some of the things that we've all been brainwashed earlier in our lives to have consumed, right? Because let's say when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, social media wasn't huge. I wasn't really on it. And then, 11, 12 started to kick in throughout COVID and whatnot. And we all got really badly addicted, especially the people who are my age. And it's gotten pretty ugly. So if you can really just revert back to what life was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or think back to yourself, what would my parents have been doing, on a night like this or whatever it is, without content. Like, just go be present, just sit there, write down in your journal, draw something, go get a canvas and paint something cool. Like, just do whatever you need to really help your brain lower those dopamine levels, specifically the cheaper dopamine levels. And I promise it will be one of the most effective and best things you do, I guess, this year in 2026, because that's what we're all trying to do, right? Is better our lives. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to click subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss one. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Let's get it.